Hello there. Welcome to the first ever episode of Minihane Mountain, where we're going to be discussing having different top lists and of things going on in the Minihane universe. Today, I am joined by Gus and Beyond Average Mick, sort of frenemies. We don't really know what they are, but they decided to join me today on Minihane Mountain. How's it going, Gus?
Good. I think Bros Night brought us together. Night out,
That's right.
doing some classic punk rock. I was in.
I would agree with
right.
that. I would agree
That's
with
right.
that, Gus. It's always a pleasure to see you here on the Kirk Minihane Show Network.
Yes. So, first ever Minihane Mountain here on the Kirk Minihane Show Network. I figured what better way to start off than just kind of obliterating me. We're going to go with top Justin screw-ups, mess-ups, fuck-ups, whatever you want to call it, of my time here with the Kirk Minihane Show the past almost 5 years now.
Is that what it's been, Justin? 5 years?
The show started in
2019.
In 2019, and I started, I think November 1st. So 4.5 years is when I started, and like I have one on my list from 2019. So it's like I said, 4.5 years, 5 years, whatever.
For Justin.
Oh yeah, there's tons of them. There's some obvious ones. I have some ones that people may have forgotten about, but I thought it would just be a good way to kick things off and get that started. So we are going to decide who goes for. It's going to be a snake draft. It's going to go whoever picks first. We'll pick sixth.
Last, the next round.
So yep. So it's a snake draft. So in order to figure it out, we have a wheel.
Oh, we got a wheel. Nice.
That's right.
Wheel. Oh, we have a wheel. That's great. That's a good way to do it.
So this is who's going to pick first. Ooh, congratulations, Mr. Mick.
Oh, let's go. Right.
I don't know if I would want the first pick though.
No, I know where I want. I want to win this one. This is the one I want. I like being two.
Yeah, two's a good spot because you're never going back to back.
You're safe. You're comfortable. You can see what's happening, how the board's playing.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. And spin it just for fun. There we go. Just so you can they can say Gus in the cheer.
Come on, give me the cheer.
Woo! Okay, so Mick, myself, Gus. That's how it's going to be. So Mick, do you want to start us off with round one? Pick one.
Yes. Yeah.
We're gonna have 4 picks each.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. This is first and foremost, Justin. I don't know how this is possible, but not being able to land a stripper at the Wilbur to me is one of your biggest fuck ups in life. And especially if you count the pandemic, which pushed the Wilbur back multiple. I mean, you had years to land this, but it's something that isn't talked about quite enough because if you look what happened at that live show, Kirk was running around like David Lee Roth from whatever band, dancing around, got wheeled out on the casket. Everybody was going full out. You got to land the stripper there.
No, that wasn't the stripper though. Mick, you're already fucking up. No. The casket? No, it was the cross.
No.
Yeah, what were we talking about? I was talking about the Wilbur. Wilbur came out on the cross. I'm aware of that.
Yeah, but I thought you said casket.
Oh, did I? I don't know if I did.
Oh.
No. I know it was a stripper. It was a couple of days before. Kirk said he wanted to get like a stripper to pretend to be Cullinane's old teacher and like dance on him and things like that. And I wasn't able to do it. I tried. I called up all these different old fucking stripping services, and I remember the person. I was talking to a guy on the phone. I was like, "Hey, like we'll pay, blah blah blah, whatever." And he's like, "Yeah." So just so you know, the girls like it was like a Friday or Saturday night. And they were like, "Hey, so the girls, it's like bachelor season. They're going to go out there and make like $4,000 in tips." And I was like, "Oh yeah." So they were already booked ahead. And then I tried to get a hooker. That didn't work.
That was something. I do remember. That was quite the storyline there.
Did you travel to locations to try to talk to strippers while getting a lap dance?
I went to Club Alex's the night before to try to get some. And they were like, no. I literally talked to them. I would go up to them and throw money on the stage and be like, come talk to me. And then I'd be like, hey, listen, tomorrow night, do you want to come on? And it was just none of them they were just like, who's this fucking creep trying to bring me back? And it just, sadly, it didn't work out. Yeah, that's a bad one. That's a bad one on me.
You don't strike you don't strike me as a strip club guy, Justin. I'll say that.
I like strip clubs. Nick, I'll go to a strip club with you.
Oh, let's do it. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm definitely a strip club guy. I like throwing money around. It's a fun time. So anything else to say on round one, pick one?
No, I would just like I said, the planning that went into that show. I don't know exactly how long you had to find the stripper, but you just have to land her there. Even whoever, actor, I don't know, get somebody there.
Yeah, it was a tough one. So I'm gonna go. So me next. My first pick. There's a lot out there that could really that are really bad. So I'm gonna go with my biggest fuck up. I think is when I messaged the Viva La Stool account. This is prime me versus Clemmer. Clemmer was at Barstool for a couple months now, and whenever he would do some wacky thing, whenever he would go on the yak and he'd make his head big or something like that, Viva La Stool would tweet it out, and then in the tweet they would put at Kirkman Show, like tagging us as well.
Right.
And it was very stupid of me. This is like when I had the irrational hate that we had towards each other, me and Clemmer. And I messaged him. I was like, hey, just so you know, Kirk doesn't want anything really to do with Clemmer. He's happy that he's doing his own thing, but like, you don't need to tag us in these tweets anymore. And they were like, sure, fine. And then like a week later or so, Kirk had been out of the Kirk Minihane Show Twitter account. He just had been out because they changed the password at one point. He just hadn't been in for months. He gets back into it. He's going through the messages. He reads this and he's like, hey, this is Kirk. Tag us in whatever the fuck you want. My producer is a fucking moron. Don't have them tell you how to do their job. Come in the next day. Kirk rips me to shreds. It's like,
real quick, I gotta ask, did you get that message? Were you aware of that before you went into the studio?
I saw Kirk do that, and then he tweeted out that show. He's like, Justin is an absolute moron or something like that. Is a fucking idiot. And I was like, oh yeah, this is not good.
Yeah.
And so that was great. And I remember Kirk just saying like, this goes against everything the show and he believes in, like telling people what they can and can't. Like it's just a tag on a thing. They weren't doing anything. They weren't forcing content down anyone's throats. It's like he's like this goes against what the show is, and Kirk was like, I think disappointed was like probably he obviously was furious, but he was also like, fuck, like this is like not the show, this is not us. So I would say that was our biggest. And a little fun fact too, that episode was the episode where Kirk goes in through not goes through, but he looked in the back of my car and was like, this is fucking disgusting. And that led to the staying in the car for 12 hours with Tim Ridgels and McFuss Daddy. So I remember, and then after the show, I think Kirk tweeted out something like, we got the best of Justin, we got the worst of Justin and the best of Justin today. Like both sides of it. Like, Justin being a fucking slob and being gross, but just being shit on for that. And also just being a fucking moron and trying to tell people what they can and can't dictate content wise. So that's going to be my first pick. It was a tough fucking.
Why did you feel the need to do that? What was
I was just like, because and this isn't an excuse, but I think Kirk said on the show, he was like, hey, it's like, that's fine. He can do whatever, but I just want nothing to do with him. And I was like, oh, he wants nothing to do with him. I can take this chance to say like, hey, stop tagging the show account and all these Clemmer things.
Right.
But Kirk didn't mean that. It was me just fucking up. So
yeah. Yeah, I think he had the hardest, from what I remember about the episode. It was you speaking on his behalf and like complaining to.
That's what it was. Yeah. It was like he's like don't ever fucking speak for me, and it was
right.
It was not good. And it was not good.
That was definitely one of the first times as a listener hearing him like really lean into you like that was like, whew. Because at that point you've been yelled at before, but it was never.
Well, yeah, this was also like, but like Kirk has always said, if the intention of the right thing is there, he treats that different than like if it's just a stupid fuck up. But like my intention of this was speaking on Kirk's behalf, so that's why I think it's my biggest fuck up. But yeah, I didn't know if you guys have anything else to say on that one.
No,
I agree completely. That's a great pick, and it's like I said, as a listener, you're just sitting in there listening to it, kind of not knowing much that goes on behind the scenes, and it was just kind of like, oh shit, can Justin, like, how's he going to respond to this? And then having the car thing, you responded great for it.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my 1-1 or my first round pick. Gus, your first round pick, and then you're going to do your second
back
round pick.
again. So So for my first round pick, I think a lot of the Minifans out there would agree with me on this one, that your biggest fuck up that you made was dropping out of the producer search so fucking early, because then you got the likes of Mick, me, Taught Me Quit. Like, you got all these other weirdos now to be more involved than I think a lot of people would want most of us to be in. So that would be my first number one, is turning down the job at during the producer search right off the bat.
Yeah, that I wouldn't say I didn't turn it down. I mean, I wasn't offered it. I just at that point I just didn't want to.
Or taking yourself out too, like just
taking myself out. I think
out, because I think, and you can kind of see it now. You're at a point like this. This was set up for like you are the perfect fit for it, Justin.
Okay, yeah. Well,
I'm just saying. Like,
there you go, Gus.
Sure.
You're the gold standard.
Sure. Okay. So
I do know what you're saying. I mean, like there's a lot that came from that. The whole saga with you. I mean, the whole, the firing and all that, whatever. I'm not trying to just the whole tension with the show and that whole like 3 weeks of just like kind of hardcore. There wasn't a lot of laughs unless it was people getting laughed at for a little while on that show. So I guess that in our beef and everything else, like there was a lot that came from it. Justin at the time had just said, all right, I'll take over for Dave, in that conversation with Kirk, then none of that would have happened. So that is a fair point.
Yeah, I do think there is some people think that like I still could have done the producer search and lost. I mean, that's very, very possible. Probable.
If you remember, it was your job to lose. I mean,
I guess people thought that, but I don't think that's true. I think Kirk wanted to go. Kirk's would definitely go into there with an open mind.
Yeah, I agree. But I also think you're really good at it too. I think you're a good fit. So I think that's probably, at least for me.
Remember, this is Justin fuck up. This is
exactly.
You
fucking suck. All right.
But I think we got great content out of that. I mean, we got Mick, Gus, with the whole like me versus Mick with the Saudi thing when I made that video and everything like that. So Gus, your second round pick. Start off the second round.
My second round pick. I've told quite a few people this, but I'm gonna have to go with your heckling performance down at Barstool, specifically when Clemmer was on the breakaway running towards you to get his basket, and you didn't just run out on the court and swat him and just try to deny him that much more. It would have been such a cream de la creme night, kind of pushing that final thing in. But that's definitely some of the chants you did at Barstool, especially in the during the what was it? The ideas thing when he's like trying, and you're just still over there in the corner heckling him, pissing everybody off.
Yeah, that was like the most nervous I've ever been, because it was like everyone before him was like, hey, just go at him. And then it just wasn't landing. Yeah. And I was like, well, I still got to say things. And people were just like ignoring me. And I was like, this is the worst possible thing. And it was like, it was terrible. It was awful. I remember I was sitting next to Jeff D. Lowe, and because he was like counting the votes or something. And I was like, this is the worst thing. And he just was laughing. He's like, I know. And it was just like, it was the absolute worst. Yeah, no, the heckling thing, the idea of me going down there was great, but the execution was just rough, especially that night show on the Tuesday, I think it was, when Clemmer got eliminated. And he's like, hey, I was like, boo. I was like, this guy sucks. Do the poopy thing again. And like no one was laughing. It was, I think at one point Big Cat was even like, okay, Justin, like shut the fuck up. Like that's right. And it was just like, and I was like,
what were the people saying in the office? Like, were they like, who the hell is like who, some people who don't listen to KMS, they're probably like, what the fuck?
They were just like, what? They were just like some guy came and his job, I guess, is to heckle this other contestant that no one knows about. But yeah, no, that was a fucking rough one.
That was tough. Yeah, it was very tough.
Anything else from that one?
No, very funny moments though. Like I said, if you had blocked them, that just would have been.
Yeah, people also got to understand that like when Clemmer was going up for a layup and stuff like that, I don't know how high you think I can jump. Not very high. I don't know.
You're just gonna put your body there, hands up, stand your ground.
I guess. But yeah, no, that was a rough one, and yeah, that was brutal. But I'm gonna go with my second pick. I'm surprised he's made it past the first round. Got to go 29,000. I mean, it was just a huge fuck up, miscommunication. I fucked up. I sent a food truck 600 miles away from Madawaska all the way to Saco, and just gave food away. I was away, doing fucking nonsense, whatever at the time, trying to deal with whatever, and it just cost Kirk I think ended up being like $26,000. He had to do another Sacco show in order to recuperate the money. It's just fucking brutal. It's something to this day where it's like, fuck, if I could just snap my fingers and just make $29,000 a year, I would. But yeah, it was absolute fuck up of the biggest extent. I'm surprised Kirk has taken it as well as he has. I mean, he like, that's not insignificant amount of change. It's not $200 or something. Right. Where it's like, wow, you know, it's fucking $29,000. It's more than some people make in their fucking in a year. So yeah, so it was just I surprised it got this far, but that's definitely I know Kirk says like he's forgiven it in some point because of like the intentions and things like that. But yeah, it's something I just don't think he and I'm thankful for every day that he doesn't, you know, that he's not moved past it, but isn't still harping on it. Yeah,
I gotta remind you every day.
I gotta dissect this one a little bit because this one was at the top of my list and I was gonna do it next, but I have a couple of questions here. What do you think the biggest fuck up of the fuck up is? The 9-hour commute for the food service, not having a contract in place,
like not having a contract.
Yeah, or just in general costing Kirk the money. I mean, that was going to be I guess obviously.
Well, but like, obviously that's like the end all. Like that's the like if obviously if the guy comes and it doesn't cost Kirk any money, it's not a fuck up.
Right. But even
if not have,
I feel like even if that went right, like having somebody come from that wall, like that would still cost him more money than it should, right? Like that's still a fuck up. Having someone drive 9 hours, that whole thing.
I guess, but if he agreed to do it, that would be.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably not having a contract, signed contract, and just going based off of his word. That was probably. What was
the feeling when you found out? Like, what was that first feeling? Were you like, he's gonna fucking kill me?
No, I was like, because Kirk was like, why did we get a bill for $29,000 for this? And I was like, that's not right. I think Erica might have reached out to me and she was like, hey, what's going on with this? And I was like, I don't know. And then like I was just trying to call a bunch of people, and Kirk was like, I don't think he just wanted to talk to me because I think he would have ripped my fucking head off and fucking destroyed me. But yeah, no, it was tough.
That's tough. Yeah, that's I mean the one good thing about it, and obviously it's not my money, so I can say this, but it provided amazing content for the show, and having this Sacco show, like it's the best of both worlds. But obviously that you can't do that one twice. That one's, and I don't think any other employee in any other show would probably get away with that. So that's a testament to Kirk.
Yeah, it's something that I'm thankful for.
I just remember the calls coming in after, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, the food was great. It was this, it was that." And like everyone just kind of like just digging in that way too. It's like, "Oh, it was delicious." And then my favorite part is like they go around. Dave, did you have any? No. Kirk, did you have any? No. So the ones who paid for it didn't even have any of it, or did Dave have some? I can't remember if Dave did or not, but I remember Kirk didn't, which is very funny.
Yeah. So that's my second round pick. Mick, you got the next two picks.
All right. I'll go for my first one. Telling our friend here, Andrew Augustus, to go to Ryder Con is got to be one of the worst pieces of advice that's ever been given on the Kirk Minihane show. Or he wasn't on the show, but you know what I mean. That was one of those things too, where you got to think Kirk at the time really wasn't big on Rico. They had the Mark Titus firing beef going on, and I don't even think that he hated him or anything like that. It was just he wasn't like a show friend or anything like that. And to go to like event, specific Rico event. It wasn't like a Barstool event. It was specifically for Rico. Just, I don't know. When I found out what was going on, I'm like, I hope he got directed like by Kirk to do that or something. And then when I saw you tweet, I fucked up. I was like,
I fucked up. Yeah, that was not good.
Like, oh no.
Yeah.
That's mine there. You have anything on that? What was your thought process there, Justin?
My thought process was, at the time, Gus was just looking for something to do. Yeah. He was trying to like fight for his job. And I was like, hey, maybe you can make something out of this. There's Ryder Con. And I just sent it to him, and I didn't tell him, I didn't give him any directions. I was just like, hey, maybe you can do something with this. Gus says, thank you. And then he's off to the races. All gas, no brakes. Shows up. And then I just see Kirk just go, I forget his actual tweet, but it was you talking to Rico, and Kirk retweets it and goes like, what the actual fuck is this? And I was like, oh, I fucked up. I sent Gus to the fucking to the fire with this one. It was like not good. And the people were like, oh, you did this on purpose to make Gus look bad. And I was like, I absolutely did not. I was trying to do something. But yeah, no, it was definitely just another one of those things where it's like just my terrible instincts kicked in, and I was like, oh, maybe Gus can do something with this, and it was just not the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gus. Go ahead.
I would just say this as yes, it's a Justin fuck up because like I would if Coleman told me, I probably would have thought more about it. If like anyone besides Kirk or Justin sent me in it at that point, I think I might have had enough like mental pause, like, all right, I can make this relax. But then seeing Justin, and then again, all gas, no brakes. It's more of a fuck up on my part too, because I still think there could have been a way to solve it. And looking hindsight 2020, there was. It's just go in, do the healthy debate on that. But with Justin, like, yeah, it's vindictive a little bit. I did have that thought. I have to admit, Justin, that you were trying to set me up for failure at one point on the drive back. The drive back was rough.
Really?
I'm sure.
You thought he was suing you?
I thought I was getting sued at points, and then it's look, your mind, you know, Mick, your mind races.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, definitely.
So it's going all over. It sucked, but I mean, it is what it is. Like,
yeah,
you fucked it up. I fucked it up for listening. It was a royal fuck up of fuck ups.
Yeah, that was definitely a tough one. Justin, did you feel like bad about that? Or
I felt fucking terrible. I was like, oh, this is. I think I texted Gus. I was like, I fucked up. I fucked up big time.
Gus, what did you think when you saw the tweet, the initial Kirk tweet or whoever it was?
I was a fucking puddle. Like you should have had like Mongo Man was there. I was a fucking wreck. Like I didn't know what to do. I just got like basically paralyzed. Yeah. Fuck.
It's a tough spot. Definitely a tough spot. Yeah, I guess my next
that ends the second round. Yep, that ends the second round. Mick, if you want to start us off in round 3.
Yeah, I would go. I'm gonna go more recent one that sticks out to me. Where, I mean, you almost caused a full meltdown in the studio, airing that thing out the other day to 58 degrees when he came in. I don't know what had happened, and I don't know what time you guys got there. But
did you guys close the fucking window?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Was there a window left open or something? I don't know what happened.
Well, yeah, that's yes. There was windows left
overnight.
Open. That was the thing. Was I was trying to get the smell out, and then I got there at, I think that was the Montante show, right?
Yeah, it was. Last Thursday.
So I got there at like 7:50 or 7:55. He said. So I got there like an hour before, and I thought like, oh, the building will still be kind of warm. It will blah blah blah. I get there, and I think it was like 52 degrees. The heat was just off, and I was like, oh fuck. It was one of those things where like you step through the door and like you just felt the cold, and it was like, oh, this is not good. And so I cranked the heat up all the way, but by the time Kirk got in, it was only 58 degrees. It was freezing. Yeah, it was not a good.
Did you text him before? Hey, we got something going on, or did you just hope that he didn't notice? He know he was going to notice. Like, they're just let him know, like, hey, we had to just
text Kirk before. No.
Like,
I mean, I guess if I wanted to, I could have been like, "Hey, there was a problem with the heat."
But like I just meant you knew right away he was going to notice that studio.
Oh, I knew right away, and like beforehand, I kept saying to like Mike and Montante, I was like, "It's good now, right?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's good." They're like in a jacket, like, "Oh yeah, no, it's definitely warmer than it was when we first got here." And I was like, "Oh, okay, good." And like knowing fucking Kirk is going to come in here, and yeah, that was not a good one. That was probably the most recent, but it was
Yeah, when he said, say airing it out again, and you were like, oh, airing out. And he's like, all right, you're fucking fired. I was like, oh boy, that's a start to the show. That's one way to do it.
Like I was confused by two things. One, I just love the fact that no one knew how to open the window. And then you had me in 2 seconds, just meh. And then, and two, like there were people tweeting at me going, I wonder if they closed the window. I wonder if they remembered to close the window. So there are already people preparing for the fuck up.
I saw.
The point, like I purposely, this is where the fuck up comes in. This is I purposely left the window open to air it out.
Right.
Overnight, that's a bold move.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Big fuck up there.
Yeah, that was mine. That's my pick there.
That's your third round pick. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. There's a whole bunch of them that I can go. I'm gonna go with this is a tough one. I'm going to go with kicking Dave Cullinane off the Kirk Minihane network. I don't know if you remember All in the Mina Family. This was early 2021. All in the Mina Family was starting with Tim Richards and what's his name? Madawaska Rob. They were doing a show on the network, and they had Dave on and they were talking about something, and I go in there and it's just a complete fucking douchebag move. I was like, hey, yeah, so we're gonna wrap this up. This is not working. We're gonna kick this off, and it just started a fucking wildfire. People being like, fuck Justin, this is tough. It was one of those things where it's like as if I was speaking for Kirk again.
Right.
So that's gonna be my third round pick.
Now, when you did that, were you trying to like gatekeep for the show, or were you trying to like, oh, I don't think Kirk would like this, so I'm going to appease him here and make sure to shut this thing off?
It was one of those things where like the week before, Kirk said anyone is allowed on the network as long as they listen to the show.
Right.
And Dave said like, oh, I know I don't listen to the show anymore. And then he started going off about his hits thing. And I was like, I don't feel like this is right. But Kirk mentioned, he's like, hey, that's Dave. He's a part of the show. He's a part of the world. If he wants to, yeah, if random Bob comes on, he's like, yeah, I don't listen to anything, but I want to talk about the Celtics and you know, my favorite stocks to buy, but no, I don't listen. But that's different than if like just some if a character or something like that, you know, is going on the show and doing some sort of content for the event. So yeah, so that was my my number 3 pick, was kicking Cullinane off All in the Minute family.
Fair.
Yeah, that's again, I think it's especially early, Justin, when you would get a little power, sometimes you definitely like to jump the gun. And you could see like the snippiness and from it, but hopefully you've learned from it as we go forward.
Let's hope.
But for me, one of my favorite fuck ups of Justin, because it provided, again, endless hours of content and just kind of shows how stupid you are, is leaving the VFW and walking 8 miles in the wrong direction. I believe, was it 8 miles?
I don't know how much I walked in. I don't know.
But just walking miles in the wrong direction. And what adds the insult to injury on that is it took Matt Carano and Chris Klemmer to come and check in and save you to make sure you're okay. So
that's the initial like Klemmer's like looking out for Justin. Isn't that how that all went down? Like, you know, I'm older.
For the most part, yeah.
That's how that whole thing started. I remember that.
Again, from a content side, it was great. But from the personality, it's just, again, I think listening at the time, being a fan, you were just like, yep, that's typical dumb Justin doing another dumb Justin thing.
Yeah, it was not great. I remember doing that. So that was, well, it all started too. It's because I left Steve from Providence's walk. Like, I think he was ahead of me. I couldn't keep up. I talked to, and then I left and went to go, and I slept for, I think, like 18 hours or whatever I said. And then the next day, Kirk was like, hey, Steve was like, Kirk wants you for the second show, because there was 2 shows. Wants you for the second show. I get there, you know, I remember like Kirk was like, should I fire him, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, you're going to walk home, keep walking. So I was like, okay. And I walked, and it was just, it was not a good move. Just overall, just tough scene. Now, I completely forgot about that, if we're being completely honest.
No, it was fuck up leaving Steve's 88-mile walk early. And then number 2 is just when you went the wrong way. Just.
Yeah, and that's a good point on Klemmer. Obviously, me and him have had our battles, but yeah, this was a guy who like left, and he came all the way from New Hampshire to try to come save me. So I mean,
that's like a. Did you think that was genuine, or did you think he was like, I'm gonna try to have a good look here?
I went back and forth. At the time, I thought it was genuine. Then there was other points during when we really didn't like each other, where I thought it was just him just trying to be like, hey, look like the nice guy. I think it's genuine now. I think he legitimately, even before we like at the peak of me versus Klemmer, I thought like, oh, this was him just trying to do his thing. But like now, just seeing how he is as a person, I think he legitimately, and he had no beef with me at the time. I think he legitimately was just.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was like relatively unknown in the world. Like he had come on like a few
I guess he was,
but he was still like new. It wasn't Klemmer now. Yeah,
Carano was definitely more of a figure in the world.
Yeah, so he was Carano's second fiddle.
So that's Gus. You have your one more final pick.
And this is a little bit of a selfish one, because it makes me, I'm only picking this because it makes me feel better about myself, and is the fact that you're a fucking slob. I'm not the neatest person, but I think I got you beat. So that's going to be my last Justin fuck up.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. That's definitely one that's not great. Just a bad look overall whenever like Kirk sees my car or anything like that, or just like my room. It's just like, this is not the best.
I don't picture you for like a messy household though. Just more your room in the car. Like
yeah, no, I mean the people I live with are very like anal about like being neat and stuff like that. But I'm definitely like a guy who just like oh, do clothes, wash them, throw them somewhere, and just I'll fucking find them. Like when I need to find like a certain piece of clothes, like you saw, I don't know if you guys saw my room. It's just like, oh, I need to find this, throwing shit everywhere, and then like eventually like, oh look, oh there it is, or like I find things like all the time. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about, like I'll lose like my AirPods for like 4 months at a time, and then I'll find them and I'll use them for like 3 months, and then I'll lose them again. They always turn up somewhere. But yeah, no, the slob is definitely a tough one.
That would be my last one. Again, like I know I'm not the neatest person, but I feel confident that I have you beat. So that's a win for me.
Let's see here. My last pick is going to be probably just trying to go to Chicago and failing. That's it's probably a big fuck up of mine, trying to, turn something, that Kirk, instead of like trying to, stay with the core here, go off to Chicago. When Kirk said, the opportunity was there, instead of trying to stay here. I think it's a huge fuck up. It's hard to explain, but it's a big fuck up.
What was your biggest, I guess, reason for that? Like why Chicago and not KMS? I guess was it like you felt like you couldn't handle it, or was it more just?
I just felt like I wouldn't have been a good fit as the producer for a long time, and obviously I don't feel that way anymore. But I shouldn't have felt that way, especially talking to Kirk and things like that. So I'm gonna go with that as my number 4 pick.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. I was always curious on what had changed between you not wanting to go to Chicago and then not wanting to produce KMS, and then that short amount of time, like what maybe not short amount of time, but a year or so. Like I was wondering, maybe you just got older, more mature. Like, can you point to a conversation that you had, or is it more just like you felt comfortable?
I guess I'm so fucking weird when it comes to things like these. It's not really, I can't really point to like an exact moment. Just like one of those things you just wake up one day and you're just like, oh yeah, no, I feel I can do this. And you jump back and forth. It's just how my mind works. It's not something that I'm proud of. It's just something that's just how it works. One day I'll feel this way, the next I'll feel this, and you just kind of have to go with it.
I think that's why people don't really accuse you of like using the show, because I think it's coming from like a place of like confusion or genuine, just like I don't really know what I wanted to do at the time, and I thought I wanted to do this. I
guess, but sitting down and thinking about it, like where would the best place be? Would it be with me in Chicago where I'm just holding a camera going around things, or would it be like here where I'm able to have more freedom to do things? So
yeah,
I know like when the end of year thing was going on, and then you were coming at me at points with your investigation and stuff. I remember getting like just feeling pissed off at the fact that like this guy who turned down this job is now kind of putting his guns on me. So like there was definitely resentment and frustration from that. And looking back on it now, like for a fuck up from you, if you didn't turn it down, then that ammo, you had that ammo all rightfully so. So I think that's where I would view that as the biggest part of the fuck up, is kind of like then the going after part of like you can't cut it, but then you just want me to attack. It's like it felt like a little double-edged sword thing, but that's where my frustration definitely came through in that.
Is that my pick now?
I believe this is your final pick.
Last pick, right?
Minihane Mountain.
Minihane Mountain here, last pick. I'm going to go again more recent, and it's just because it's been a gripe of his and the connection and having 2 producers back there, not having the internet being ready to go. We could say Chicago. I would just say recently on the show. And I know this is a testament to Coleman, because he probably doesn't, he's still figuring the world out. I know he's still new. There are times where he'll answer and like, it's a rhetorical question. You don't really need, there's one answer and see how we got to fix it. He's like, yeah, I'm not too sure about the stream here. He'll try to like, like they're talking about the multiple streams going on. It's like, he does not give a fuck. He just wants it to be fixed. There's nothing you could say here other than it's fixed. It's okay. And it just that whole thing when it melted down in Chicago after the long, free throw contest. That was a tough one.
Yeah, that was definitely a bad week. We definitely should have had the internet ready to go and upgraded and everything like that. And not to pile on here, but also another fuck up was then upgrading the internet. You know, it's costing an extra $150 a month, and just not even mentioning it to Kirk, just being like, "Hey, this is so."
Yeah,
I
that
don't know.
whole and for an kind of piggybacking off that as one of my honorable mentions would have just been not bringing like any energy or any like topics the day after the free throw show. That's a huge fuck up. Like to not see that, like if Kirk's gonna be tired or whoever they have in, and they might need some more pep, more like energy for it. Cause like one thing, sometimes people can kind of feed off that energy, and just for you guys to bring low energy to that was just a recipe for disaster.
Yep. So
It's a tough week there.
I have a bunch of honorable mentions. If
I got
we can
some
go
too.
through it. During the EEI call-in Brady Week stream, saying he wishes Sneakers Kids gets cancer, causing myself to have a mental breakdown and miss the soccer redemption show.
Hard times.
Which they were only happening for that. That was me just trying to be Kirk and, you know, whatever. It was rough, and Sneakers did not like me, or it still doesn't like me for a long time. That was a major fuck up. Putting up the Red Robin investigation early. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yep.
That was the 2019 one I was talking about. I didn't know if I was going to say it or not. That was when Blind Mike told me to put it up at like noon or something like that, and I put it up at like 6 a.m. before they even started recording. So that was not good. And at the studio being Jim, so I was trying to go to Chicago and the terrible. Yeah, that's all I got for my.
I think you've had quite a few like little things here and there, but those are pretty much the glaring fuck ups that I could think of over the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, do you guys have any?
One other one I thought of was the first time you left the show to start your gaming channel.
Oh yeah, that was another one too. Quitting that to start my non-existent gaming channel. That certainly is just to start the Justin show or whatever the fuck I tried doing there.
Yeah. So that was another one I had written down for you.
There was another one. Oh, another one I had was cutting in line at a wake. Someone called in that I cut in line at a wake.
I remember this. Yeah, I do remember this.
And then it spiraled into like me saying on Justin and the Minifans or Mike and the Minifans or whatever. Me making a joke about, I think it was like Kirk stealing a bagel, and then Kirk like ripped me to shreds. And I did like some weird apology on the network. So
tough times there. Tough times for
tough times indeed. Trying to think of anything else. That's really all I got for honorable mentions. I don't know. Anyone else have anything?
That's really all I got. That's it. That's all I can really think of.
You're not the specific person that gave Menners access to the other place, did you? Because that could be a fuck up. Just giving them the access to where we are in that situation.
No.
But I thought that was Cully, not you. So
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us for the first.
Oh, I got one more.
Oh, hit me with it.
The Jared Carabas going away party at Kowloon.
That was not a fuck up.
He stands by that one.
That was not a fuck up. What are you talking about? How was that a fuck up?
I mean, just the whole event idea.
How was that a fuck up? There was like a "We Love You, Jared" party. Get his confidence up.
It was just something that Jared obviously did not want. I don't know.
Well,
it just feels like a fuck up. It just feels like a fuck up.
Well,
today.
that I will stand by and say that was a great little Minifan event that I put on. I wouldn't necessarily call that a fuck up. I wouldn't say it was a complete resounding success, but
yeah, it wasn't Coachella here, but you know,
but it also wasn't Firefest. So
yeah,
it's somewhere in the middle.
There was food. I'll give you that. The food was good.
So anywho, thank you guys, Gus, Beyond Average Mick, for joining us on the first ever episode of Minihane Mountain. Justin Screw Up, Justin, whatever you want to call it. Thank you to Kirk. Make sure to subscribe to the show network and everything like that. And we will talk to you again soon. Bye.
Right. Take it easy.